well. Hope you're doing well. I had a good sleep last night for once. My cat didn't wake me up at all, which is amazing. It's a very rare thing where I get a good night's sleep, so I'm quite happy today. Do note the Euro USD, we do need that above the daily pivot if you were thinking about taking that trade. So keep an eye on your failure rate. It certainly is a buy on the sentiment, but you do want it above the daily pivot, and that's your metric there. If we go below, probably consider exiting, and if we go back above, then you could look for a long. This is low though, so be careful. They're getting paid on Aussie, CAD, Euro, and Yen. They've got low scores. Also, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that the USD, it gets sold off quite aggressively. I think it's because no one really wants a wrecking ball. So there's the USD over Asia, and see how we're falling quite heavily. But it's fallen with the Swiss and the Euro. Pound and Yen are in ascendancy. So potentially by New York, potentially we could get a dollar yen and a pound USD long, because you can see how we can get like a pincer movement and see how it's converging over time to those currencies. So you can use them in conjunction with your bubbles, and then we should see a stronger yen because of the we can see that they sold it, so we should be going up on the yen, for example, and you can look at your bubbles. So let's look at the indices. Gold just been crazy. It's been quite naughty. See, we made a buy 1834 ish. But with how legit this is, because it might just be a ruse to try and get people to short more before going up. We do need to hold those lows. I've got a sell order there 1830, so we might get it. You know what might happen is that we come down and get it, and then we're going to bounce, because there's probably going to be a ton of stops down there, but I have to put something in there to protect myself, because I've got some trades running on this, so I don't really want it to break 1830. By having a stop loss, a sell order there that is protecting my trades. So ideally I don't want it there, but if it does, then I'll be hedged. So could be quite naughty. It's a risky buy. They sold it against this moving average. You see, there's got a down arrow to tell us that they sold it. So we should be coming up. Right, so be careful. We've got 5 minutes for the new hour. S&P, we shouldn't really be falling on this. So it could be like a ruse. Yeah, so that's really interesting. So they sold it here. So we should still be above 4133. It might just want to come down and tease them. Very choppy. And if this does fall, it's going to impact our trade of the day, which is a hypothetical thing because I can't trust the USD right now. But we'll look at the Euro USD in a bit. Yeah, likewise, we shouldn't really be wicking above. There's no reason for it. Admittedly, they're going ever so slightly long, but we haven't got the crossover. Yeah, got to be careful, I suppose. That's the only thing I can say. We shouldn't really be falling. But it might just want to come down to test their break even. They shorted it here. So 3-4 on the dot. So it might just come down to tease them, and then we can bounce. It needs to try and encourage people to be trading and not to wipe them out straight away. They have to get paid, and then they can do the rug pull. So it might be that. If the prices did the opposite of them or what they did, 12 hours prior, they'd be like, well, why am I bothering? What's the point of doing this? I'm not making any money whatsoever. I'll just get out. By going up, then it's, well, admittedly they sold it, but they do need to get paid. That's the thing. We have to remember they can't get destroyed all the time. Right, now this is fine because they've gone long. So we will be creating a zone above on the next hour. This is going to be a resistance zone here, which you can probably map because we've got 3 minutes to go. So that's fairly bearish. The fact that they've gone long. Let me try and map. We haven't got the wick yet. That's the trouble. But we've got a box here because it tells us they've gone long. All right. So this should be a resistance. Big old wick there. Gold we just covered at the beginning. Keep an eye on that level. And if we do get there, then I'll have to just load up on shorts, and I'll have my stop around about here-ish. but try and trade small as well. I find if you trade smaller sizes, you can be a little bit more accommodative on your positioning. If you've got large sizes, you can't really manage and micromanage things. If you've got tiny positions, then you can add and then, you know, scale out, scale in, and you've got that. You can afford to do that because your sizes are so small. You can be quite flexible. So at the moment, even though this is falling, it's not causing me any particular stress because my sizes are small. If my sizes were large, this candle here would be stressing me out. So you have to remember, you have to be comfortable with the sizes. And if you are finding yourself getting stressed and angry, you're probably a little bit over leveraged. So consider reducing your risk. And that's a good tip. So if you find yourself getting really angry, you know, feeling like you want to punch the screen or something like that, it's probably because your sizes are probably a little bit too large. So consider just reducing your lot size. And if you can't reduce your lot size in your broker, then you'll have to change your broker. And we've got an IC Markets affiliate link, which I recommend that you do that, and you can do that, and it's quite nice. And you can use like tiny micro lots with a decent leverage. So Euro. Oh, big old doji there. So they sold it, so that agrees with what we're seeing on our bubbles. Yeah, that's it. So just keep an eye on it. It's not a trade of the day where we can record the profit and loss. We're just going to monitor. But this should be a long based on the bubbles and based on this as well. Quick look at dollar yen, and they've gone long. So, you know, we should be a sell here. So 134.18 should be resistance. We can draw a little box in here. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I think this week's been a bit bonkers, but as long as it's not stressing you out, then you're doing okay. And remember what I was saying about if you are getting stressed, then you probably need to reduce some of your risk. And then, you know, you can trade happily, and that's what it's about, isn't it? You don't want to be sitting here getting stressed all day. It can't be very healthy for your, you know, psychology, and probably your body as well, because you don't want to be stressed for the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. So if you reduce your size, it will reduce your stress. Okay, so a little bit of tip there. And also this is a good tip as well, use the trading station. Really, really good. And it's free, and I can help you get set up on it as well. So have a great day. I'm going to do a Patreon video now, and I'll speak to you soon.